Hello, everybody. We recently reached 300 subscribers and have decided to do another giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be subscribed, comment on any of our 2022 videos telling us what your favorite video of the new year so far is and what kind of videos you want to see in the future. We will be giving away a couple cold foil promo heroes. We have one cold foil Icelander.
We've also got one cold foil Data Doll, as well as one cold foil KO Berserker Runt.
The giveaway will last for the month of March 2022, with the prizes being raffled in April. Thank you for your continued support. Hope to see you all at the Pro Tour in May. Bye for now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Spark of Genius Flesh and Blood production. We have the inaugural, it's not really inaugural, it's just the first episode with the new name here, the Spark to Your Genius, which is what we're deciding to call our new discussion series, essentially. And this is mainly, we've done videos like this in the past where we've kind of talked about our recent events, like Crack Open the New Year was kind of the last discussion video we did, but we figured it would be easier to actually have a title and an episode like everybody else. So that's what we're going to do. This one's going to feature a couple of different topics here. The ones that we brought up. So as of recording, we're recording this on Friday the 18th. That's right, yeah. Friday, March 18th. And so it's like kind of on the eve of the calling. I guess the calling in Indianapolis did technically start, but I think today was Team Blitz. And so that's kind of when we're recording it. We're going to go through a bit of predictions for the what we think the meta breakdown will be. Who do we think might get like a top 8 breakout, something like that, and then we're kind of going to roll into not in any particular order, but we're actually going to start with more blitz content here. And as you can see, we haven't done a tier list before, and this is not like one of those we've thousands of games at the bank, or just like this is the meta, like stick by this meta. No, not really. We've obviously been playing games, putting in reps, playing in some tournaments here and there, so we have a good idea on where we think these heroes land as far as the kind of relative strength in the meta, and so we're going to kind of rank them by that, and that should kind of be looked at if you're going to a battle hardened, like the one in Leeds, I guess. They're also going to be talking about a little bit later. The one in Texas, the one in Dallas, and the skirmish season, which is what most people are going to have a taste of.
Pertinent to everyone pretty much watching. So I know pertinent for me. So hopefully people get some insight into this.
I think we'll be doing 2 skirmishes.
Yeah.
I think I'll be doing 2
locally here. One about 2 hours away. Might not go, but
quote unquote
we'll
local.
Quote unquote, exactly. Yeah.
So we're gonna start off with this tier list here.
Yeah, tier list, exactly. So we've got the pretty standard grades up here. S being the best, as everyone knows, and then replace D with diehards only. So
now it doesn't mean they're bad. It just means that only diehards should be really like considering playing this hero in any kind of like event that has pricing in it, really. But it doesn't necessarily mean you lose. It just means that you have probably a less chance of success in the current meta.
I think that's true for every hero in Fab, if you kind of think about it. You know, you won't do terribly with any particular hero. You just have a less chance of winning. Maybe Genius is the exception, but I feel like in Fab it's balanced enough where you can play your favorite hero and still take a game or 2 and still feel good about it.
Oh, you'll definitely take a game or 2, but if you want to take 5 in Swiss,
that's a different matter. Exactly.
So we're going to start off with Ira. This is kind of chronologically. I think Rob's kind of chronologically ordered. We do have KO and Data Doll.
They're just off screen here. We could fit them in, but we'll drag them in as their turn comes.
So Ira, the Crimson Haze. How do you feel about Ira?
Okay, so I know that Ira, talking about season 1 and 2, she's been just a monster. I think she might have cooled down a bit. I have not seen an Ira player in a hot minute, to be honest.
No, it's true.
And in this meta, I would say she's fallen from grace a little bit. I don't think she's bad, but I'm comfortable putting her between A and B tier. I don't know about you.
That's fair. No, that's fair. I think what we'll do is like in A and B, we'll kind of order them left to right. So if like we're putting them on the left of any particular tier, it's the
So
top
they're
top
currently
end of that
better.
kind of tier. Yeah.
Exactly.
Now
Yeah.
I think Ira is still very flexible, and that's kind of her main
Yeah.
strength, that she doesn't really have to go super. It's like a more mid-rangey style. I feel like she has to go so aggro
She's got the
nowadays
offense
to.
and defense, right? She has
Yeah,
the
she can
flick
run like
flacks.
flick flack. Yeah, she can run flick flack. She can run flying kick, things like that. She runs pretty good like pretty good card value
Like
as far as
CNC,
her red
D
attacks. Yeah,
strikes.
she
They're all in there.
exactly. Yeah, her +1 gives her that like break point that's just so easy to benefit off,
Right.
especially against the more armor light kind of decks. And I think honestly, because she is herself lacking armor, she kind of doesn't do that well into the super aggro decks like
Mm, yeah, I mean,
Viscerai,
Viscerai
even
comes to mind. Yeah, exactly. Maybe Briar to some extent.
Viscerai, Bri, all the rune blades really. I mean,
Fair enough.
even some of the
Yeah.
other decks, I feel like armor is just key. Even Benji can come in here and try to OTK things like that. Just no armor to really block that spring tidings
Yeah.
more than once, kind of thing. So I feel like she's probably on the high end of B for me, just because she's kind of
Sure.
like middle of the
I'm
pack, probably on the
comfortable with
higher
that.
end.
Yeah, we can leave
Yeah,
her on the left here as new heroes come in. I think she'll pretty much stick to the left. Yeah.
yeah.
I
And
agree.
to be clear for everyone, we don't have like thousands of games on
This
any
is
of these
all
particular heroes.
speculation, and some of these heroes we have not seen in a long time. So,
Yeah,
you know,
well, it's based on the games we've played apart together. Blitz Armory is just all across, just kind of
yeah,
our
like our
we don't
gut
have
feeling here. Yeah.
yeah, we don't have metrics for this. It's just a discussion.
It's
We're
for
not the
fun.
official
It's
kind
for
of guide.
fun.
Yeah, it's just
Take
for
it with
fun
a
here.
grain of salt and enjoy enjoy
Big
us trashing
big
on some
grain,
heroes. That's right.
like a kidney stone grain of salt right here. So we're looking into
Dory comes
looking
next.
Dorinthia, which is going to be exciting because she does come up in the new Classic Battles product, where she does come up with a new
Hmm.
Blitz deck, maybe a new Go Again deck. But we're just talking about the standard Dory here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Dory is interesting in Blitz. I feel like she can go either Axes or Dawnblade. I think traditionally Dawnblade Dory has been like rivaling Ira as far as like that SA tier,
Yeah.
because she's just able to output a lot of damage, tank up with the mini fridge, and just
Hmm.
keep doling it out and getting that tempo with the +1s on her sword. The
Yeah.
issue with Dory at the moment, I think, is not so much with Dory. It's just that she's so once you know how to play into a Dory, she loses that like that secret spice, that element
Secret
that like
sauce. The
if you
secret
know how
recipe.
much, yeah, if you know what her damage output can be, and you know that, keep a D-react in the arsenal, use
Yeah.
armor to block, don't turn on reprise. There's like a lot of kind of base level things that players will eventually just learn how to play against Dory. And I do have a Dory deck. I've played it a fair amount in Blitz, and I feel like it's just very one dimensional. I feel like
Hmm.
newer Dory builds probably can do a good job of using it. Maybe Dory Axes, although I think the meta is too fast for Dory Axes, honestly.
Hmm.
But as far as Dawnblade goes, I think it's a good deck. I wouldn't particularly say it's like super strong into any of the kind of higher tier heroes. I would also put her at a B, probably just right next to Ira,
I was gonna
honestly.
say the same thing. Yeah, just right next to Ira.
Okay.
She probably won't move too much. She's been
Mhm.
great all around. Has not moved much, I believe, in this current meta. She's kind of just a very good hero.
Yeah.
Has a great armor set, like you mentioned, and she has that ability to push over the top damage if you want to go for
Mhm.
lethal. I think that makes her very
Yeah.
unpredictable sometimes, but like you said, a lot of the times you can predict it if you're just kind of looking at like a 3 damage ceiling where it's like, okay, I'm blocking for 3, she's coming for Dawnblade, 2 cards in hand. Yeah, I should probably block for 6 or not block at all and then turn off reprise. So
Yeah, that's you hit the nail on the head. It's like
yeah,
once you learn how much to block for, Dory is not as much of a threat.
exactly.
I would say she does have room to go up to A. I think there's some like definitely some more interesting builds that can take advantage of some of the new cards. However,
Hmm.
as far as we all know her, I think we'll leave her at that.
I'm okay with that. All
Coming in
right,
with
my boy
Reinar.
Reinar.
Now,
Okay.
Reinar is an interesting deck in Blitz. I feel like Reinar's strategy is just usually just OTK combo, like big ol' swings,
Yeah. I mean,
big swing big,
it really
and
comes
just
down to when you draw the Alpha Rampage, or sorry, the Blood Rush Bellow, I should
the
say,
Blood
not the
Rush
Alpha
Bellow. Yeah,
Rampage. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, not Alpha
I've had
Rampage. It'll be
terrible
Blood Rush.
games with Reinar when you just don't draw it, and I've had just blowout games where you can pretty much beat any deck once you draw the right cards.
Hmm.
And
I think.
because he has Intimidate, it doesn't really matter how much the opponent can block because you just take their hand from them and come in with a few, barraging beatdowns plus a big attack, and it's just unblockable. So he has some really explosive power.
I think I want to put him. I want to put him in A, and the reason I'm going to put him in A is not necessarily the inherent strengths of the Reinhardt deck, particularly. Like he does have very strong OTK, but in the meta, I feel like there will be some control decks such as Oldhim that will be super prevalent, even maybe a Bravo or something like that. And I feel like Reinhardt is by far the best hero that's able to like break through the control because of the Intimidate, right?
As we've talked about with Demos, I guess he kind of shed some light on the strengths of Reinhardt and how into control Reinhardt is excellent because you don't really care about your opponent's hand that much. Just strip them of their hand and go in big, right? So
yeah, and while like he does struggle into very, very like quick decks, he can still OTK it like super, super easily off the right 4-card, 5-card hand kind of thing. So I'm going to put him at A. He's probably not going to be like super high to A, but I'm going to put him on the A here.
Yeah. Agreed.
Bravo, the showstopper. Is it important to note that Bravo Star of the Show did not have a young hero variant, so Star of the Show will not be included.
Bravo is all we've got here. That's right.
Bravold
is all we've got.
Old Bravo.
So
Bravo's interesting.
You're more of a Bravo player, so maybe you can enlighten me on whether or not he's more of a control or more of an aggro deck or mid-range in Blitz. I know he can go both ways in CC, but in Blitz,
you could definitely build him both ways. You can kind of play a more Anothos strategy, Anothos centric, where you play a lot of cards like Blessings, D-Reacts, and focus on kind of the more life gain swing with Anothos and try to get card value. There's also more aggressive decks that build towards, pummels, CNCs, things like that.
Yeah, maybe some Rouses in there. Some Beltings, maybe. Yeah.
You could, yeah. No, that's totally fair. I don't think I would particularly like Beltings, but like Bravo is definitely super, super flexible, and his hero skill is still super good.
It's really good.
Dominate on demand. Yeah. It's very, very good. Like especially if they start on 20. God forbid your Benji starting at 17, stuff like that. So it's still very, very good. I think Bravo is going to be one of the heroes we do showcase a little bit later on. The actual playstyle. I feel like Bravo only is getting better and better with age here. It's like a fine wine. He's getting better with age. We've seen the
Runeblade support. Now we're seeing the Guardian support, and I think he benefited a lot from what came recently. So.
I definitely agree. I would probably put him at either at the top of A or the low of S. I'm not really sure. Yeah. We might move him around after we're done this.
Maybe top of A for now, I think, is pretty safe.
Yeah.
All right,
no, I totally agree with that. Katsu is just like that ninja who always got ignored in Blitz, and I don't think it's going to be any different now. I think Katsu struggles with the fact that he, first of all, doesn't have armor like any of the other ninja.
The mask is a one-time block, and you need the mask throughout the whole game. You're almost never blocking with unless you're like at the last turn of the game. So armor is lacking.
I think the combo pressure also that usually is Katsu's bread and butter, which Ira doesn't really care about as much. The fact that you can only get like 2 of each combo card, the fact that you have to be very like coordinated with your attacks. A lot of these Blitz heroes end up having a lot of armor. And I feel that like Katsu's hero ability to actually be able to hit can be like a fair bit stymied in a lot of different more meta matchups, like Oldhim and such. Like the control decks can just absolutely stomp on Katsu, and Katsu will never land a hit, and he won't be able to like do like he's an okay deck. Yeah, you could build him on a more control-y style in Blitz, but that's not really the Katsu list that I see that often. And I think he's just not super like. I think he's fine essentially. Like there's some of the new cards came in like 100 wins and Winds of Eternity and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean we can talk about even bigger than that as well. That kind of came into
even bigger than that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I just feel like the lack of armor in Blitz, you need so much to overcome that because so many decks either have aggressiveness and armor, or they have like such high aggressiveness and then they have a little bit of armor. It's just like, well, if I want to play Katsu, why don't I just play Briar? I could be like just as aggressive, if not more.
Right.
I get armor.
The proportion of armor, exactly, and the proportion of armor in Blitz matters a lot more than it does in CC because you're looking at like if you have 10 armor to your 20 health, that's like 33% of your total health. or 10 armor to your 40 health, which is like 20%. So percentage wise, the armor matters a lot more in Blitz, and you can see certainly that the heroes that do have the armor just perform better in Blitz, I think, on average. So I agree with you. I would put him probably at the end of B or maybe top of C, somewhere around there.
I think I'm going to shove him the top of C here. I just don't. I don't think his strengths
his day will come.
That well.
His day will come. Maybe. Kano, okay. Yeah, he's a big boy. All right. So I'm tempted just to shove him in S, but it would be have an argument for otherwise.
I wish I could, being the Kano player that I am, but I did fiddle around quite a bit with different builds when Aether Wildfire came out. All the new potions, Deja Vu, Clarity Potion, Emeritus Scolding, like a lot of good additions to the deck. So the way I see Kano is that he has really good agency in that his flexibility is super, super important, where you can try to always push damage, you can try to block, you can try to set up combo turns, you can do all these different things, and then people are always kind of scared of you throughout the game because they never know when you could just go for game, right? And that's kind of what in Blitz, that's kind of what Kano has going for it. But with all these new cards, you still start in 15 life. Your bad match, you have very little armor. Yeah, you have Tunic is pretty much the one you can use.
Exactly.
You do bring in Skullcap now, I think, especially for
over the talismanic lens.
Into like Benji and then decks that you need armor to last a little bit longer. I think that Kano's bad matchups are still very bad. I think your matchup into Dash is awful. Like, it's absolutely awful. Especially now with Teklo Pounder and items like that just make it way worse. Your matchup into Prism is pretty doomed. Like you really don't have much of a chance into Prism either.
No.
So if either of those decks are running around, and also the Mirror is just dreadful. What can I say? Mirror,
whoever has the most IQ. Is that right?
Or just has more blues, or just gets like super lucky.
More blues and IQ.
it's just like the ultimate game of chicken, which I just don't really enjoy. But
okay.
I think Kano has good matchups too. I think in the current meta, the issue is Oldhim and Bravo got stronger. So Oldhim and Bravo used to be actually fairly easy matchups for Kano, as we've kind of outlined in our Blaze a Trail through the Ice video. You actually just set up your strong combos and just brute force through like a Stir Forked. But now they have Steadfast. And so it's kind of just like they flip over Red Steadfast for Oldhim or Bravo, and you're just kind of shit out of luck. Like I really don't like the fact that two heroes that are probably going to see a fair amount of play are now probably some of your worst matchups now. Yeah, they're not unwinnable by any means, but I feel like Kano is just getting more and more unfavorable matchups without gaining any great matchups into Runeblades. He's 50-50 into pretty much all of them.
Right. And they're all doing pretty well in Blitz, I believe. So I think that in addition to the Bravo and the Oldhim matchups, I do agree.
I would put him at the bottom of A or the top of B, which sounds blasphemous here. But
I am surprised to hear you say that.
You not only need to be a very good Kano player, like you need to have a lot of reps in the deck, but you also have to dodge so much stuff. Everyone has like Steadfast and Null Ruin, and they have Arcane Lantern like for Guardians too. And
now they can
like
play
that.
it right. You're right. Just play your one-handed Titan's Fist or your one-handed Winter's Wail, I think, and you're okay.
Yeah, and Brute has access to Skullhorn and things like. I just feel like there's Kano didn't really gain any tools to help him into.
I do think the Brute matchup is kind of nice as Brute playing into Kano. I never feel that pressured. I can always attack with a single card and keep a blue and a yellow in my hand and not feel too bad. So I agree. Let's not do him too dirty. Let's put him at the end of A. I think he might be okay there, and maybe we'll bump him down if there are too many A's, but he might be okay at A. And for those who don't know and who are coming into this late, pretty late, Kano was the boogeyman of Blitz for a long time, up until recently, I think, right? So he and Ira kind of dominated. Yeah, exactly. So good to see a little bit of a change, though. Okay, we're going into.
You just don't want to get blazed by my Aether. I see where it's at.
That's right.
We got Dash.
Okay. So I can speak to Dash, or a little bit at least. I've played her a fair bit in Blitz, and I know for sure you already touched on this, but she has probably the most favorable matchup into Kano. Your damage output early, you start out with your Teklo core, get some more resources off the bat, and then that allows you to kind of go in with a bunch of boost cards early and hopefully get off maximum velocity. If you get that combo off, turn 2 or turn 3, you're golden pretty much. Against Kano, no armor and 15 health. So again, she dominates Kano. She's pretty good, I think, as an aggro deck. That's kind of her playstyle in Blitz. In Control or in CC, she's much more control, but in Blitz she's more aggro, and she does really well against those heroes. Against Rhinar, against any hero that tries to, I guess any hero that's typically bad against aggro.
More like
she's pretty good.
Decks, yeah.
Yeah, or combo decks. I'm not sure if there are many in Blitz, but yeah. So I don't know. I'm not going to give my rating yet. I don't know if you have any opinions on her.
I think she's just like an average aggro deck,
and
honestly.
no on hits too. She doesn't present any on hit potential.
Like she can do, like, you could do, even if you start with Teklo Pounder, you can do like your 060s coming for 6, your zippers coming for 7. You could probably pump out like a consistent 11 to 14 damage per turn, but like you will burn through your deck. And so if you see a deck like that wants to stall you out, like Oldhim or something, or any even like a good Icelander, like an Ice-based Icelander, an Ice Lexi, that kind of thing, that's able to withstand the push and then make you be inefficient. Make you deck out, be inefficient, block with cards, have some armor. I think Dash will just suffer from the fact that you have to burn your entire deck as an additional cost to play the deck, right? And so in Blitz, it's a lot more prevalent. So I may have misspoken earlier. I might have said she's good against control. I meant to say combo. I might have said control there, but typically she's bad into control is what I should say. So Oldhim is really good against Dash, yes. I would keep her at B. I think the end of B is fine.
I agree. She's pretty, middle of the line, and people have done well with her. If you dodge the right matchups, you can do really well with Dash. All right.
I totally agree. Azalea is going to be in the Die Hard only, and I'm going to tell you that right immediately. And the reason is there's Everfest didn't really give us any other reasons to play her over Lexi in like any capacity. Even in CC, everyone was like, "Oh, Dreadbore, oh yeah," and then we're building the decks, be like, oh, "This card shit." I mean, it's not shit, but it's just like everyone was like, "Whoa, these reveals are gonna make Azalea great again." Azalea was never great.
It's so sad
to begin with. It's like Raid Razors and stuff, but like Lexi is just the better ranger, and there really isn't anything that I saw in Everfest that changes for the Blitz portion either. I mean, Azalea just doesn't come with enough aggression to stave off the fact that she has no armor, barely any armor. She has grapplers and stuff like that. Her damage output can be okay, but it's not consistent at all. Your blocking with cards is very bad. You have a lot of 2 blocks. You block with arrows, then you can't fire them. It's just like, and you have no weapon. So it's just like
the no weapon is a big deal, I think. Yeah, exactly. So I'm okay with that. Diehards only.
Yeah. That's all I don't.
Yeah, I have nothing else to say, I think. Yeah, she can be good in the right moments, but for now, like if you're trying to 5-0 at Armory, I wouldn't play her.
No, Viserai.
All right.
Viserai is very, very strong, and the reason is because the Runeblade cards in Everfest are very, very strong, as well as Blades in general is very, very strong. Revel of Runeblood, Swarming Gloomveil, extremely strong cards here. I think it's very, very obvious to me that Runeblade is going to be at the top of the ladder here. And the reason because that like you could still super easily switch randomly to OTK, like just because of Sonata, just because of Vexing Quillhand, Sonata from the Courage. It's not Courage.
You mean the Skeleton?
Bloodsheath. Yeah, the Bloodsheath. Yeah. Like you could randomly like do like you can get them to 10 from like random tempo and then be like, no, let's
I'll just wait it out now.
Let's Mordred create a Mordred, go for Vexing for 3, like play whatever, like have like 1 rune chant, turn it into 4, and just Sonata grab 2 cards or something and try to OTK you. It's not really OTK obviously because you're not like doing that generation
from 0 to 100 to 0.
Yeah, but like you can turn it from aggro into combo and blitz like that because they have so little life that it's just like, well, I've already done like random things. And so I think that's like showcases the power of Viscerai's dual source damage as well as Rosetta still broken. Like
It's still a broken
such
card.
a good.
It's the only Rune Blade weapon right now. No one talks about the
Like
other
no,
ones.
everyone's like, oh yeah, you can run like put Reaping Blade in the list. Be like, well, I'd rather put Iron Rod. At least like there's more of a consideration to run it in some matchups. I don't actually think he's S tier. I think he's at
Okay.
the top of the A tier. The reason
Okay.
is because that he is very strong, but he bricks like a mother. Like that, if it's the same problems in CC that when I played Viscerai, same idea. You draw 4 reds, or you draw like a really awkward all non-attack, or like you can get some stupidly awkward Viscerai hands.
Yeah.
And
This is true.
it's still very high rolly, and you can still low roll the shit out of that deck. And it's not, the game plan is very inconsistent. You can put out a lot of damage and then not put out any damage and generate some rune chance and give tempo back to your opponent without having any agency about it. Like you don't get the choice. All red hands absolutely suck in Viscerai.
And you play a pretty good proportion of your red cards, I believe. I mean, most of the deck is pretty much red in this deck.
Most of the deck is red. Like Become the Arknights and stuff. Like you just can't play them because you need the blue to pitch. Like,
That's true.
Very,
some of your more playable cards are blue, so it's like
Mauvrion Sky is another very good example. Like you want to play Mauvrion Skies, like if you pitch it, it'd be like okay. Anyways, my point is that he's not S tier for those kinds of reasons in my eyes.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think he's pretty much top though. I'm okay putting him above Bravo.
Top of the A. Yep.
Yeah, perfect.
I think Bravo. I'm actually like I'm open to like if people think Bravo is like a bigger A than Viscerai, I would agree with that. I could see the argument for that. Just because of the consistency, Bravo just always gets bad. I don't want to keep going on Bravo here. You guys will have to wait for the gameplay video because we're actually playing Bravo versus Viscerai as our next
soon.
recorded Blitz. Yeah, so you guys are going to see that who's should be on top of who in the A tier here.
So here
we're gonna move on to Benji.
We've capped off actually the first 9 heroes of Blitz here. So the first, Era, and then the 4 Welcome to Wraith and 4 Arcane. Interesting to see kind of how our opinions might have changed from if you'd asked this question maybe like 4 or 5 months ago. Kind of like 2 of the biggest heroes are now kind of sitting like middle of the pack. Very interesting. Yeah.
No, as time goes by, tier lists change
they
based on card availability, right?
Exactly. All right, Benji, the first of the Crucible heroes, one of the ones who got a specialization card this set.
Yeah, I know. I played.
I don't know how you feel
obviously, we do have Benji games up on the channel. I did build Benji. I played a bunch of Benji beforehand to kind of learn the lines, and I don't know, man. I feel like armor, like any deck where armor hard counters you needs to be revisited.
I just
here.
save the armor for the Spring Tidings, and it's over.
Like it's just like if KO could just sit on scabs and just like pretty much stop you from your main combo turns. Just imagine how you do it to like Kasai or Bravo or Oldhim.
Have like multiple 2 blocks.
Yeah, that's the problem. Have multiple 2 blocks, and they could have shield if it's Guardian. Like they could actually just have shield and something else.
Yeah.
Or it's just like, oh, Spring Tidings comes in for 2. Oh, Crown of Seeds, shield, lol. Like it's not. Sometimes you don't even need the armor. And like God forbid they're running Nerves of Steel into you. You just lose. Like you can't win.
Yeah.
And it's Benji does have some sick OTK into aggro. Into aggro, but not hyper aggro. It's such a niche. Honestly.
He fits in a very particular spot. I was thinking above Dash somewhere, maybe around here, maybe above Dory.
I think I would put him like literally right there, like where he is right now, like above Dash. But I think Dory beats him. Like I don't think he beats Dory.
Well, just all the armor that they have just kind of dumps on him.
He possibly beats Ira, but again, I feel like all 3 of those are fine being there.
Perfect.
We're looking into Kasai, and Kasai is going to be
is this our first
S tier?
It's our first S. Yeah, I was going to say.
I was playing her. I think I have about 20-25 games in her right now. We played a couple games in the Blitz Armories and the Canadian Blitz Armories. We've seen Kasai running around. We've also got some content for Kasai. We'll have more content on Kasai coming up soon. Peanut's definitely getting excited for Kasai.
There's a toy under my desk. Let's keep that away from her.
you gotta be ready with those toys. And Kasai got a lot of new toys here in Everfest. Like we're going to be rolling right into Blood on Her Hands. Crazy card. Like a Spring Tidings, not hyperdriver, microprocessor. This is the macro processor. We're talking about like some serious damage here that you can upfront, even with like 3 copper tokens. I remember that like you could just like make a sword better by everything just with 3 copper. And I feel
Yeah.
like so much of the new Everfest cards were built for dual-handed. We're built for axes. We're built for like Dory axes. We're built for Kasai Centauri.
Right. You have especially
And
the one that gives
Blade
+1
Runner.
+3. I think 1 and 3.
Oh, that was the rare. Yeah, that was the rare.
Forgot the name.
Slice and dice.
Slice and dice. So 0. Yeah, exactly. So 4 damage, kind of. If you have 2 weapons. 4. Yeah.
Yep, 0 for 4 blocks for 3. Blade Runner to give another go against
a
source.
reaction
it's
that
a
gives
rare.
go again. Yeah.
It's a rare too.
So you can run
like
all of the pitch values.
Oh, you now have like 15, 16 cards that can give your stuff go again. You can like do some really dirty things with it. I think Kasai has very, very good sustained, long, consistent damage, which is very, very hard to do in Blitz, because she also comes with a very nice armor package because she's a warrior. So she gets to run Courage, she gets to run Bracers, she gets to run Valiant Dynamo because she's swinging with 2 saber.
Oh, like, yeah. That's so much value.
She's got some of... She's also S tier because she has some of the best armor in the game. Like, she's got some of the best consistent long-term armor and damage, and she has them both. And she can set up for like control decks. She could definitely struggle into them. I think that you can set up some really big turns, but I think control decks will probably have the upper hand if they're built strong enough. But aggro decks, I don't think. I think Kasai puts up way too much pressure, and you got to be scared of copper. Like, it actually has use now. Like, that thing can
in the
blow
past,
you out of
you
the
didn't
water.
care at all, but now it's like, how many copper am I giving him from not blocking here? Because that'll matter. That'll come back for a go again and attack again with his weapons when Blood in her hand comes out. So
yeah, so I think we're gonna put Kasai on S here and move on to Data Doll. So Rob's got a little Data Doll experience.
I've got a little. I kind of dropped her after a while. The thing is, so I mean, it's funny. I was playing against Nia for a little bit, and he was playing Benji, and we actually came out pretty even in Data Doll versus Benji, which is funny.
That's depressing for Benji.
It's a little depressing.
Let me tell you that. Like, here.
So I'm gonna say that she's one of those heroes that I'm gonna put her down here. So basically, you don't expect to win with this hero. It's a lot of fun if you can get your stuff out, but I've had some miserable games, and I played with Eric a few times, and if you just don't get her items out, like the items you need, like microprocessor, you just lose. So
yeah, you don't even want to play them. You need to like banish them. You need to get them out with Data Doll. It's just so hard.
And the 3-card hand just always feels terrible. So I mean, look, you can win with this hero, but I'm not gonna say much more than that. Like, it's not that good.
I don't have anything to add. Just watching you play it just kind of disturbs me.
Just see my soul leave my body in real time as I flip over more boost cards.
That was literally like the first half of both games. Let's roll on to KO here.
KO. All right, so
I'll talk a little bit about KO.
You can go first. I can top off.
You can tell me. Yeah, you can top me off here. So, because as an outside observer here, KO looks kind of funny. Like, he has some crazy OTK potential, but he's got the new gloves. He's got the skull crushers. He's got
forget the skull
ready
crushers.
to roll.
The skull crushers don't do anything.
Yeah, ready to roll is a nuts card that makes KO viable. Honestly, like legitimately viable. Like like it makes his combo actually usable. It's very akin to like a Blood Rush on Reinhardt. Ready to roll guarantees so much more damage. Not guarantees, but increases the likelihood of so much more damage. It's just very, very good to have. Swing Big is also a very, very good card in KO. I mean, if you're feeling presumptuous, High Roller is, I guess, pretty funny, but it's not really super necessary.
Key card, but I would say fun to use. Yeah.
He's got a little bit of armor, but he's just got that like super, super big swing here with damage potential, and I think. Personally, I'll say where I'm going to put him, and then you can move him if you like.
I'm thinking of a spot now. Yeah, so I'll be ready.
I'm gonna shove him. I'm gonna shove him below Ira, above Dory.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Was it exactly?
I literally had that.
God,
yeah,
wow.
yeah.
We really are.
I was like right around here, like between Dory or Benji, I think. So I agree. Let's put him above Dory here. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you probably agree. Like, he can smack. Like, this guy smacks people around, but like it's so like when you're looking at everyone above him, Kano will destroy him. Yeah. I don't like him into Reinhardt. Bravo Vis Kasai seemed like they're all going to destroy him also. So it's kind of like just looking up at the Mount Olympus there and seeing Zeus and the other just as a lowly Titan.
He's the demigod or Titan. Yeah, exactly.
He's Kratos' like second removed son or something. Like
strange
random. Estranged second roofed cousin. That's KO. This KO the estranged cousin. It is.
Yeah.
Talking about estranged cousins here.
Yeah.
Probably one that most people are familiar with. Cavdeen, the Trader of Skins. Is that
Trader of
Trader of
Skins.
Skins?
He is a Trader of Skins. Yeah.
Diehards only. He used to be like somewhat ish. Have a
he had an
build with
interesting
drone.
build. Yeah, I remember the build with drone, but I know that I think Nia played it for a while. We were like,
Yeah,
wow, he actually won.
Merchant didn't get any help in Everfest other than like cash. Like they got some crazy item things, but Cavdeen didn't get anything.
They're
Man
really
still has to
paving the
run-
way for future,
Yeah,
merchant sets.
Merchant
I
is
think
definitely
for now,
a class
it's
for maybe like a metric set. They're gonna put merchants more in the forefront or something like
yeah,
that. But for
yeah.
now, nope.
I'm okay with that.
Levia.
Oh yeah,
We're rolling
Okay.
into Monarch here. Levia's
Yeah.
interesting. I know Mansant definitely had some decks that were looking interesting here with Claws Brute.
yeah.
Claws Levia Brute, and I think like there is that explosive potential. But I don't know how you felt about Levia. You played a bit more, and my
Yeah.
kind of take on it was it looked fine. It could win if you put a lot of games into it and know how to play every matchup, and you're just like
Yeah.
peak
It's one of the harder
Um,
decks to play, I think, like in terms of amount of like experience needed to do well.
managing
She's up
your
there.
grave and managing blood debt. Like that's a
Exactly.
lot of things to keep track of.
Yeah,
and,
because
like,
you're
when do you go
managing
off?
things that can kill you. It's not like managing
Yeah.
like bonuses. It's managing detriments. I feel with this deck, and
Mhm.
one misstep can really cost you a game. So
Oh man, can it cost you?
yeah, I mean, she
I
has some
totally
really
agree.
bad matchups into the top, pool of heroes we have here. I don't think she can be put any higher than B. I'm even willing to put her maybe above Katsu here in the C tier.
I'm willing to do that. I think her damage is not like she could have very very good turns, but consistency just isn't as high as like a Dash, a Dory, even a KO for like ready to roll and stuff. Like
It's
Levia doesn't have
funnily
those kinds
enough,
of
yeah.
tools.
Funnily enough, because KO, you just wait till you get
We
your
live
ready
in
to
a
roll and you get to.
we live in a world where KO can set up consistent damage over Levia.
We're in the darkest timeline.
We did roll the one.
We did roll the one,
Now,
exactly.
let's see someone who is more consistent. Chain. Bound by
right.
Shadows. And I already know Bound by Shadows because I play a lot of Chain myself here.
That's right.
Chain is interesting. So he's kind of the unconventional Runeblade of the bunch. And when I say unconventional, it's because the shadow mechanic is very different from what is like him and Levia, honestly. But him specifically, like how it reacts
The
with
other
shackles,
Runeblades, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and Chain has had that history of being like he was decent in Skirmish Season 2, Skirmish Season 3. Like he was 2 and 3. I think that's when Monarch came out, so I think it was 2 and 3. Yeah, he had some decent matchups into the top tier decks because of his explosiveness. If he can, his super weak early game was remedied, but his extremely strong mid to late game, right around Shackle 3 or so, and that enabled him to kind of be more flexible about his blocks. Husk is still Husk, right?
You're right.
His armor suite is the best in the game because he does come in with 10 armor if you're on lower life with the skull cap, or 9 armor if you're not. And if you add creepers, then you're always at 10. So I think he does still have those pros and cons. I don't think Everfest gave him the same cards as the other Runeblades. He didn't get any new shadow cards, so he got the Sword and Gloomveil. Obviously, he runs it. He's got the Revel. Harder to run, but still definitely decent.
I mean, we've seen kind of a bunch of nerfs hit him kind of one after the other. We recently had the Duskbane, the ban.
The Duskblade. It is pretty important to note that Plunder Run is not banned in Blitz, and because Plunder Run is not banned in Blitz, I think Chain is still a very very strong deck. I'm definitely shoving him right next to Viserai on that A tier list. I think probably under Bravo in my opinion.
Okay.
But I could definitely see him running around that A list somewhere. I just think his armor suite's great. The reason why it's not higher is that Husk is very easy to play around if you're the other player, because does get destroyed 13 or below, right? And so you only need to do 7 damage, which really isn't that hard.
The threshold is a lot smaller in Blitz, yeah.
Threshold is smaller. If Chain is able to get to Soul Shackle 2, 3, and beyond, very, very hard to contain that hero. Plunder Run is still legal in Blitz, can still run it. Very strong card in Chain, and all other Runeblades and aggro decks in general. But Chain, the extra draw with the Art of War combos, I agree with you. I think he has decent matchups. His ability to shave off tempo from any other hero in any particular game is still quite good.
Yeah,
so just because of damage output alone, with a little bit of armor support and tempo, is why I would put him in A.
All right. Next we have Prism. So
Prism's funny.
Killer in CC, we know that. How is she
Very,
Blitz?
very good in CC. You know what? I think Prism used to be like that deck to just shat on Kano and didn't really do that much else, but
Yeah.
she used to have a very one-dimensional play style in Blitz where everyone ran Heralds. A lot of Heralds, a lot of times, right? A couple auras here and there, but mainly, you're bumming off those like really good value.
The one
Heralds,
cost is 7
War
attacks, the War Tunes.
Yeah, Red War Tune. That
Still
playstyle only got better. Yeah, that playstyle only got better with Miraging Metamorph, right? So you got another 1 for 7 with Go Again off Luminaris if you pitch a yellow, right?
Yeah.
You have brand new blue auras that you can run to be a bit more blue focused.
Right.
Blitz Prism didn't run library. They didn't care that much about yellows other than the Go Again, so it doesn't really hurt her as much for you just run a more kind of skull cap or crown, probably skull cap and Blitz, running the tunic and just kind of going ahead with that game plan. I think she's very strong. I think she's actually definitely got upgrades with the Metamorph, just based on that. The blue auras are nice also. Being able to like flash in that extra aura, being able to get you some really good value, especially those like minor points that don't seem as relevant in CC are much more relevant in Blitz because you have less health, right? I think she's actually gonna be like quite strong into a lot of the higher tier decks, like Reinhardt Chain, even Viscera, to get up to that 50% win rate. Obviously not as strong into Bravo. Pretty decent to Oldhim, I would assume, but she's able to be more flexible. Like
she's more of a hybrid build, I would say.
Definitely more of a hybrid build, but you run enough auras that you can still run like 10 auras, maybe 12 auras to be like have that game plan if you need it against like a heavier like Herald breaking deck. And for that, I'm also going to put her at A, but I'm going to put her below
Bravo
chain. Below Chain, maybe like in between Reinhardt and Kano. I don't know if you have any thoughts about Prism.
Not really. I haven't played her much in Blitz, to be honest. I just know that the addition of the rare auras, or not auras,
the blue
but
auras. The blue auras.
The blue rare auras, right? Yeah. Made her a lot more flexible, like you said. And the Majestics are really kind of flexible and cool. I love the addition of Miraging Metamorph. I think that it makes her a lot.
Miraging. Shimmers is a hell of a powerhouse in CC. Right. It's even better in Blitz. Like it's just like you cannot let that thing.
You can't ignore that thing. The extra damage is insane. Yeah, so I'm okay with below Chain. I think that's fair. I wouldn't put her S rank, and I think that she is. Yeah, she's weak into Bravo, like you mentioned, and the Rune Blazer is kind of just outclassing everyone right now. I'm okay with this.
But I think Kasai does crush Prism, in my opinion. Just the ability to, like, Prism's just historically bad against super wide decks. Super hyper aggro, like Briar used to shit on Prism.
Right.
And I think that's still the case. And so decks that can emulate that kind of aggressiveness still will do well into Prism. Speaking of a wide-ish deck that isn't as aggressive, we have Bolton, the something of something, because I don't play enough Bolton to actually remember his title.
Same.
So Bolton didn't get
Sir Bolton something.
The Dawnbreaker.
I was gonna say Breaker of Dawn. I think you're right. Maybe
the Dawnbreaker, the Breaker of Dawn. I don't know. He didn't get much help. Honestly, I don't like. Sabers is like a CC deck. I think in Blitz it was mainly Raiden. I like the warrior support was like you could have a Bolton Axis build with like Spill Blood and you see, like, even Slice and Dice, you can't use it with axes. It's swords and daggers.
Swords only. So, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Blade Runner. There are other decks. Like Lumina is still a thing. I think you can build a serviceable Bolton deck, but honestly, I don't see, like, he doesn't have nearly as much armor as a lot of the higher tier aggro decks like Runeblade. I think I'm gonna leave him literally where you have him right now.
Yeah, I have no argument with that. I think. Trying to think if he has a better matchup against some of these guys, but I think that
it's hard to tell because I think a lot of it comes down to player skill. But like, let's just leave him there.
Yeah, against Dash and Benchy, I think he's not that favored. So yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah.
All Makes sense. Oldhim.
We got the old dude himself.
I'm putting Oldhim as my second S tier hero.
Young him.
And
young him. He's just him.
Bravo,
young and old cancel.
Him.
It's just him.
It's just him. The grandfather of eternity. This one I know because I remember putting Demos's face on it. And so right, we have Oldhim, and I never thought I'd put him at S tier, but he's just so unbelievably strong. And the reason is because he he still has a crazy kit. He got a brand new shield if he wants to use it, but he's also got like upgrade the same upgrades Bravo got, like all these Guardian upgrades. He's able to really be well positioned in the meta as the premier control deck. And
Yeah, he
what I
is
mean
the
by that is like
epitome of control here. So
the only issue Oldhim had Bravo had the only issue Oldhim had in the last meta is that time. Like people would always try to
yeah,
like,
playing him
you
in
know what I mean,
Blitz,
like
you have
in
to be
draws.
careful about the 30-minute timer. Yeah,
Reinar and Kano. Like those were like the main issues he had. Reinar because he just doesn't care about your control, and Kano because Kano just sets up and just kills you.
yeah.
But now Oldhim has Steadfast, which is like I don't like Oldhim got such good
Hmm.
cards to upgrade his entire strategy and his entire kit that as Demos would probably say, just play for second cycle, man.
Yeah,
Play
exactly.
for second cycle. But
It was
like
a one quote I remember from Demos. Is played a second cycle.
he definitely doesn't talk like that. But like he has a very good point because these deck like Oldhim just has so many ways to stop. Like you have your D react, like Oldhim's hero ability
Yeah.
slows the game a lot. You have all of your like Blizzard, Winter's Grasp, Channel. You have your Rampart, you have Crown, you have so many ways of blocking up here.
Yeah.
And you have your Winter's Wail to create frostbites with like consistent pressure, more ice heavy build.
Hmm.
And then you just set up your Okinols and your Pummels and your CNCs and your what's actual specialty? Okinol should be a second one,
It
by the
should
way.
be.
But what's this? Endless Winter, Endless Winter.
That's it.
So it
Endless
sets up
Winter.
as like Endless Winter, and like, oh, so he essentially just outvalues you. Like all your games will go to 30 minutes probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of them might go to time,
He's a
but
very
like
slow old man.
yeah, but in a competitive format, I think I would be very happy bringing Oldhim in here because he just relieved his Kano matchup
Yeah,
pretty
he's
decently unless
comfortable.
Kano sacks.
Yeah.
Reinar is definitely one of the boogeymen to Oldhim. Like if Reinar sees that OTK, if Oldhim sees the OTK Reinar,
Yeah.
you're in trouble. You're gonna be hard pressed to put enough pressure for him to care. But I think he's pretty good into like the same aggro matchups he was in before. Nothing's really changed.
Yeah.
But he just got better, and I think I would have put him on A tier last time, so I'm putting him on S tier this time.
Yeah.
Really simple as that.
I agree.
And we will be featuring that list in Oldhim versus Kasai on one of our future videos to see
Clash of the S
SVS.
tiers. That's right.
You could tell we've planned our matchups based on like what we're putting in the tier list, what we think would be interesting here. But or Eric did, I don't know.
Yeah.
But Eric did anyways. Looking at,
we got the next.
so we're still
the third
so we're
rune
still
blade.
in Tails.
Still in Tails.
Third Rune Blade.
Yeah.
And you know what? Briar last meta was very strong. Like the hyper aggro ball lightning, when ball lightning wasn't banned.
Yeah.
Double create as many earth embodiments as you want. Go absolutely ham. If they block you, great, you're gonna win the game. If they don't block you, who gives a shit because you have 5 earth tokens.
Exactly.
And your pulse blocks for 8. Who cares, right? Even against like dominated cripplings. Block with a pulse, take 3, no crush.
Exactly.
Like it's very, very broken, and they fixed it. I'm happy she got errata, but she still has Rosetta. She still has Plunder Run.
Yeah.
She didn't care about Earth embodiments that much in Blitz, anyways.
She's not dead. Yeah.
She's very strong. I'm definitely looking to put her in the A tier, probably next to Reinar and Prism. I could possibly see her next to Chain and Bravo also.
Yeah. I was thinking
I'd
below
probably
Chain
put her
somewhere.
right in the middle. I'm actually thinking like right in the middle.
How about
like right next to there's fine. Probably left of Prism.
You want to put her next to?
Yeah, I think Briar has a good matchup into Prism, so let's put her right into the left here. She's still very strong. She got Swarming, she got Revel, 2 cards she uses very, very well.
Any aggro deck, any aggro Rune Blade, pretty much would be happy to use those. Yeah, and
I don't know what else to say there.
Ability power is still great. I mean, the one embodiment turns her 2 blocks into 3 blocks. It's fine. You know, a lot of the decks that struggle to block out with 2 blocks. I mean, she kind of gets around that by turning them into 3s. So I think it's pretty good. Yeah, I'm totally okay with this.
Agree.
All right,
Lexi, my Lexi. Lexi's awkward. I don't think she's a very good Blitz deck. I think I think she's just better at CC with the better card pool and being able to take advantage of her toolkit. I think in Blitz, she doesn't output very much down. I mean, Lightning Lexi maybe, but like most of the ice lightning hybrids
hybrids.
I think her damage output is fine. I think that the fact she lacks a weapon means control just shits on her, and it still does. Like if I was Lexi and saw ult him, I might just GG out of the game before it starts. But yeah, I can't. I'm not allowed. But
not
like
allowed
in my head, I'd be like,
you've already tapped out in your mind. It's like, all right,
I'm already just like, this is gonna be like such an uphill. It's like a league game, like a league like normal game that goes like past 40 minutes, and you're like, why am I playing this game?
It's at 20 when your teammates don't want to forfeit, but you're the only one trying to forfeit.
I'm sorry, for anyone who plays League, they'll probably understand exactly what we're talking about. But so it's just she has just like very okay matchups. I don't see her.
Yeah,
I see her really favorable. I see her beating some of the aggro decks that aren't too aggro too fast, and she gets like the right cards and she's able to like block out a little bit.
Yeah,
maybe go first an ice dominant arrow or something like that. I think I'd probably I don't even know if I'm putting her ahead of KO.
Yeah, I'm debating that in my mind. It's like KO, I mean, KO's quite good.
Yeah, like theirs fine, honestly.
Yeah.
This is all just like circumstantial, right? Like we're not this
is not an exact science. We have no formulas for this.
Talking about exact science, Valda Bright Axe. Yeah. I know you've had some mixed feelings about Valda after playing her.
I think she's on the cusp of fun, because she has the new mechanic that, you know, being able to. Okay, I think that she has potential.
The cusp of for fun hero.
Yeah, we should have had a for fun category for F, but I think that she has a lot of potential because the ability is actually very strong. To gain seismic surges whenever you draw, when your opponent draws, is actually really good. The tools are just not available for her. And Heave is interesting, but it doesn't fit her that well, I feel. Every time I've heaved, it's all kind of down to luck whether or not I can get enough pitch to play the heave card in the next turn. Like, I'm thinking about Pulverize, sorry. It costs 10. You heave it. You get 3 seismic surges, which is great. It helps you, pay for the heave. But the next turn, if you don't draw enough blue, you just can't play it, and then it's stuck in Arsenal forever. You're never getting it out of there.
I think the issue is that she doesn't usually like to run Tectonic, and so she's not able to like make that 7/6, and that's actually quite a big deal.
A lot of the breakpoints that Bravo can get through, she can't. So
even Oldhim still just runs the plating, the Tectonic plating, same kind of idea. It's just like, well, that extra 1 matters a lot. So I think Valda's good. I think the one-handed with the shield build is probably more ideal in this kind of meta because she's going to be wanting to take a more control, a more control stance against a lot of these hyper aggro decks. But the issue is, like, unlike Oldhim, she doesn't have ice. She doesn't have the ability to really slow down the game enough. And unlike Bravo, she doesn't get access to like a crippling crush and like really card efficient, like really strong attacks that are able to high value. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So like, funny story. I think when I initially wanted to play her, I thought you could play Crown of Seeds with this hero. Not knowing she's not an elemental, so you cannot. But I think that the addition of Crown of Seeds would actually make her quite a lot better, just to be able to cycle that arsenal with your.
But you can't.
But you can't because of the face up. You're right. Yeah.
But
no. Even
that too.
But even without that, it would have made her better. I think that she's just lacking on too many fronts to really make her that playable. She's an okay hero, but I think, where she is right now, C tier is pretty much where I'm going to leave her, unless you have a good argument otherwise.
Not from what I've seen.
Yeah, it was between that or Die Hard. She's like kind of teetering between the two.
I think she actually does okay versus Katsu and Levia, so I'd probably just leave her at C tier. Probably like actually.
You want to bump her above Katsu, maybe?
Yeah, let's leave her there.
Okay, yeah.
Icelander.
Okay. Yeah, what are your thoughts on Icelander?
So I put in also about 20-25 games on her to practice for our showcase into Data Doll.
Our games,
I think the build I was running could needed tweaking for sure. I think I would have definitely come in with a slightly different approach. Probably cut the blue absorbs. Probably just run the reds and like a couple other things. Even then, I think she's just too slow, and not just because she's like an ice hero, but it's just like
no pun intended, I guess. Yeah,
you get no pun. You don't get lessons. You don't get blazing. You get blue. You get blue stir out of the arsenal at instant speed. You get Winter's Bite. You get like some random stuff. I don't think Kraken's Aether Vein is that amazing. I'm sure someone's gonna break it eventually, but at the moment it doesn't look that great. Which is a new wizard weapon.
Mm-hmm. the
I
staff that can
think
draw a card if you can ping for one and draw a card if it hits, I believe. So
definitely a slower kind of play style. I think there's maybe room for some kind of hybrid build with her. Is kind of where I see her shine.
attack action hybrid
Yeah.
build, yeah.
Um,
Okay.
that being said, like, yeah, I was able to beat Data Doll. Like, and even that sometimes was a
Is
struggle.
that
Like, I
is
don't
that the
think in this
bar?
meta,
Can you beat Data Doll? If you can, you're not in the D tier.
I think I'm shoving her in C, but I'm gonna put
See?
her at the front of C.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And that being said, like, I do think she has potential. I just don't think it's being explored yet. And so,
The ability to draw a card off of a hit though is very strong, I think, just in
if
general.
she lands it, yeah,
You have to
yeah,
land it. So you can maybe time it to like do when your opponent has no cards in hand, maybe.
and no pitch, no
And no
cards,
pitch
and no
left.
pitch,
It's like when
right? So
when
it's
they have literally nothing,
one card.
you can
It's
draw a
when they
card.
have one card and they want to arsenal. That's when you want to use it, right? When they have one card, they want to arsenal. You don't let them.
Yeah,
But the thing is, it takes one of your cards.
it
So
does.
like you have to have the blue that
And
you
your
don't need.
weapon pretty much. So it's like
Yeah, and you have to make the weapon not crucible. So you
yeah.
lose like a bunch of pings of damage. Like, how do you win?
Yeah.
You know, it's just like I think Icelander, Valda, these new heroes that came out, the ones that don't, they get their new fancy specialization. LSS will help them out the next supplementary set, but for now, I don't think I would waste too much time on them unless you really do enjoy playing them. That being said, we're moving on to Shiana. Diehard's only
S tier, of course, right?
S tier. Why am I even? I mean, if you have a BGS 10, yeah, of course S tier. But
Yeah,
Shiana is Shiana. I don't think there's much to say about Shiana.
I really want to put some games
Um,
in with her soon. I think she'll be very fun to play with the new specialization cards we have. There could be something really broken there, but I haven't seen or heard.
play like shapeshifter mode or something.
Yeah, I haven't seen or heard anything to make me believe that she isn't, kind of a troll class. That should be
Yeah,
another class, troll. She's kind of like in there.
like she is the legendary hero. I think like making her particularly powerful would be a bad idea
That's
because her
true.
availability is
That would
so
go
low.
against some of the design practices that or principles that
Yeah,
LSS has, where the high rarity stuff should not be broken in any
key.
sense, right? Should not be
Yeah,
key, should not be broken. If she was
yeah.
dominant in the meta, that would be a problem, I think. So I think
I
this is
totally
maybe by
agree.
design, just leaving her down there by design. But
Yep.
the thing is also to note is that the more specializations that come out, the better she could get. Like she has an infinite ceiling, I think. And
Mhm.
one day she might reach that point where maybe they reprint her as like a common or a
Maybe.
non-foil,
Yeah.
and then
I
they print out some specializations cards that are just like really good for her. And I think that could happen.
I totally can see that happening. Like a lot of the IRA stuff coming out in crew and like making
Hmm.
it more available instead of just like the welcome decks and such.
Yeah.
But with that, here's our tier list.
Okay.
Let us know. We're not on the video yet, but let us know in the comments here. Are we right? Are we just like roll right off the rocker here? Like, are
Some
we just like so out of? Are
diehard
we like
Valda fans in the comments
they're
be
just
like, she is
like
S tier, and I can
like
prove why.
Rob, you're just garbage. He's actually
Yeah, yeah.
way better than, or like Data Doll is like Bay. Don't disrespect Data Doll,
I'm not
which is
gonna
fair.
dump on anyone's bays. You are free to bay whoever you like.
You can Bay whoever you'd like. So moving on here with our next kind of mini topic. So that was the main topic for the discussion video. We got a
Yes.
couple mini topics. Let's roll into the Battle Hardened.
Battle
Battle Hardened is
hardened.
coming up. Battle Hardened is like the first like revamped Battle Hardened. I mean, I know they have the one in the US that's probably happening at the tail end of SCG cons and callings and such, but
That's right.
this is the first like only battle. Like this is just a Battle Hardened. There is no like there's skirmishes in the weekend, but this is like a main Battle Hardened. I really like the Battle Hardened event system because it gives 2 PTIs now, and I think that was like massive. That's a great idea by LSS.
So one for first place, and then one for second, I believe.
Second.
Second.
Yeah,
Okay.
one for first, and then the 4 mats. So the top 4 gets the Battle Hardened exclusive mat. The pricing is pretty decent. I think these events are like really super good for local communities that want to get something a little bit bigger. They don't want to have to wait for roads. They don't want to have to wait for a pro quest. You got a Battle Hardened instead, right? It's not really tied to a season. You just get a PTI, which
Yeah.
is really, really nice because it's like I think the Battle Hardened PTI is like the lifetime PTI. So it's the same ones you're gonna get. Like pro quests
For
only go
ProQuest.
into pro quests only go into pro tour. Roads goes into. I actually don't know about roads. I think roads just get
Whereas it might
invites
have
for
been only
nats.
nationals, I believe.
Yeah.
Which
So
would
but so
make
Battle
sense.
Hardened is like the lowest level event you can get a PTI. And I think that's correct. I think that makes sense. Leeds, I think that was the same kind of the armory there. same kind of venue they had last time. I know a couple people heading out to that one, so good luck to all the competitors. Do you have any predictions to what the meta's going to look like? Who's going to win this inaugural European Battle Hardened?
I mean, I've been kind of vouching for Kasai a little bit, knowing just
Mm-hmm.
how strong she's become lately, and with the lists that have been floating around, I think that she
Mm-hmm.
has a very good chance. I mean, just from my personal anecdotal experience, like she's wrecking armories in my area. I think like
Yep.
I've played against 3 or 4 Kasais in the previous armory and lost to just about all of them. So I think that she's going to be
Yeah.
very good. That's pretty much my
I think
prediction. Yeah.
there'll be some Kasai's in top eight. I think you're going to see at least an old him or two
Mm.
come through because he's just so good at so many matchups, and people love aggro and blitz. They love it, like
Yeah.
even
It's
more than
quicker
CC in my
format.
opinion.
Like,
Quicker format, like who doesn't want to finish a game in 5 minutes and get 25 minutes off? Like that's the
yeah,
Kano player. That's the Kano player's dream. That's why I played
exactly.
Kano in the first place. But
To play less,
win or
less
lose,
flesh and blood.
you're not going to time.
No,
And
you're not.
so
That's the
I
same for
think
KO.
there will be. Yep, that's true. And I think you'll see a couple Oldham players come through. They're putting a lot of reps on it and know how to use the defense reaction properly and really know how to control the actual game state. Kasai's. Uh, I'm expecting a Kano, like one Kano
Yeah, the
that like
rogue
kind of
Kano that kind
figured
of
out
slips in.
that just dodged
There's
all the
always
bad
one.
matchups.
There's
That
always
just
one.
like and I think it'll be like the one that just the gem gods have blessed. Like this is the one that Gem wants to put through. That person will get through the top eight, and it
Yes.
happens like every event. There'll be like some random deck that gets into the top eight.
Yeah.
Who just like, how did you get here? Oh, I dodged all the bad matchups, and I got
So
really lucky in the
I
ones I
didn't think
had.
I'd get this far.
Yeah, it's like I don't have a plan. I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
so I think there'll be a Kano Kasai's. I think, and then everything else will be Runeblade, in my opinion. I think you're
Right.
just gonna have a
Right.
mixture of the other decks will be Runeblade. Probably more Viscera and Briar than Chain, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Chain either. That's kind of how I see the top eight
Yeah.
figuring in here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Prism. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bravo. I
Yes.
wouldn't be surprised to see Reinhardt.
Yeah.
Everything else I've kind of talked about. I think the person who will take it down will probably highly depend on those top eight. So I can't really predict a hero that will win, but that's kind of my prediction as far as like the top eight bracket and like what the meta is going to look like. Again, we're going to see the
Find out in 3 days, I think. Yeah.
and I think it'll evolve too because in Blitz there's a lot of like the possibilities are endless. Like I feel like CC you can play anyone, but like the meta dictates.
Yeah.
Or at the moment it's rock paper scissors ish. Quotation marks, you know
It's
what
true.
I mean? It's not
It's true.
it's rock paper scissors Kano. And
Yeah.
so here in Blitz, I feel like it's going to be just everything is viable.
The variance is so high, right?
And people just want to have fun, and like if you have fun at a deck and you do really well and you like the deck, you acclimate it to the playstyle really well and you just do well.
Agreed.
And so that's just kind of how I feel Blitz. And so we're going to move on to the one CC topic we have is
Final
the calling.
topic. Not Blitz
so
related.
The calling has just started.
Mhm.
It is Friday. The team Blitz, I believe. Congratulations to a team who won, whoever didn't win. You see that prize wall? There was like a bigger,
Yeah, the Facebook
Tord of Tempo mat. Yeah, you see that Tord of Tempo mat or something like that?
I didn't notice
Not
that
bittering
one.
thorns. It's
Was it Torrent of
5,000
Tempo?
tickets. I think it was Torrent of Tempo.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I think it was Torrent of Tempo.
Okay.
It's sitting there for 5,000 tickets, and I'm like,
I would go for that.
Oh yeah. Oh, I bet.
Interestingly enough, we saw a lot of mats that were kind of reprinted also in the prize.
We saw a whole lot of new ones too. We saw a Frostbite mat.
They had a lot.
I saw a
Revel.
I saw a Revel of
Revel?
Blood. That was a first. Yeah, that was a prizing for the Team Blitz. Also, I
Mhm.
saw Shock Charmers, which everybody
Yes.
wants. Shock Charmers.
It's beautiful.
A couple really nice mats
They had
coming out of there.
a handful of new ones.
Emeritus Scolding. No, not Emeritus
That
Scolding.
one wasn't there.
Coalescence Mirage. There was Coalescence.
Oh, that's
Mirage.
right. The D-React.
Slice and Dice. No. Coalescence Mirage was the Prism card.
Sorry. There's the D-React for Wizard as well that was there as a playmat. I forget the name though.
Oh, interesting.
The new one.
Sigil of Parapets.
Yes,
Sigil of
Parapets.
Parapet.
That was the one.
Yeah.
Yes.
They had so they had some really nice stuff here, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the calling, which is CC. So
Yes, not Blitz.
this will be streamed. I think how I think about the meta kind of after all the pro quests, what we've seen is Bravo Star of the Show is still Bravo Star of the Show. It is a very linear deck in its elemental casino form that does have a control variant that people don't really like on average as much because it doesn't it's not the spirit of the Yahtzee. You can't
Yeah.
you can't bingo your way to victory as much. You really need to play a very slow game plan, able to kind of flexibly, that's got to be a word, kind of roll around your strategy depending on who you're playing against. People, maybe North Americans, are just not caught up with the magic that is control, other than Demos, of course. God forbid, don't dub Demos, please. I'm not calling you a casino player.
Yeah.
And I think that Bravo Star the Show is going to come up a lot in the calling. I don't think it's going anywhere. In my opinion, it'll make up about a third of the player base.
Of the total players, okay. Yeah.
Of the entrance. I think it will be at least a third, if not slightly higher, maybe 35 to 40% is my guess.
Okay.
The reason I think that is because the calling is serious business. This is a tier 3 event. PTIs are on the line. People will take what they think has the highest shot to top 8.
Yeah.
And the conversion rate for Starro, I know Davis has a whole lot. Davis Kingsley did a little did a little thing for LSS here, a little data metrics, which as an analyst I'm quite akin to here. So, and the conversion rate for Starvo is still good. If you want a top 8, Starvo is really good, and a lot of players don't really care about winning; they just want a top 8, which is totally fair because top 8ing and calling is still very, very hard, and there's a lot of things to consider, like conservation of brain power. Making sure you're able to stay fresh, playing your best as long as you possibly can. And Starvo is one of those decks that you just can because it doesn't take as much on average. And it's nothing to say that's bad. It's just a very strong deck. It has cards like Awakening, so you could just be behind by 20 and Awakening in a Crippling or a Pulverize.
Very good, I think, into the mirror match. You got to think about the mirror match a lot, actually, because everyone's going to be playing Starvo, you said, a third. So
a lot, yeah. You're going to see
either way.
It's a long tournament. You're going to see the mirror if you're on Starvo, and whoever's on the control side probably will take that match because of turn timbers, staunches, and stuff like that. I think the Prism is probably going to be the next most represented. I would hazard a guess at about 15 to 20%. Prism's a much harder deck to play, in my opinion. Playing a lot of Prism myself, it takes a lot of work to understand your timings, your deck, your matchups, and really elevate yourself to be able to set up properly for your best matchups and your worst matchups, for that matter, right?
Yeah.
I think she has a good matchup into Starvo. I'll probably get something in the comments being like, "You're an idiot. Control Starvo just bonks the auras turn after turn." I think a good Prism has the deck built around for that. They'll run a lot of them. They'll double aura you. They'll make sure to balance their deck with enough tempo and pressure that you can't just be rewarded for popping auras. With the proper deck stack and the proper setup, Prism is favored. If the Prism and Starvo are at the same level, I think it's a player skill based matchup, and the person with the more reps and the better understanding of the matchup will win it, in my opinion. Sacking is all well and good, and it'll take some games, but overall, I think people know that, and people will be bringing Prism. The rest of the Rune Blades here, I don't know what you think about the rest of the. Yeah, probably a lot of Viscerai.
I would say Viscerai will be the most represented from the Rune Blade side, for sure.
I think it'll be Viscerai and then Chain and then Briar. Just because I know there are some good North American Chain players. I know Tarek is there. He's a pretty good Chain player. There are Viscerais. I think Viscerai is he's good. He's just so inconsistent. You can be consistent, but his low rolls are so low. I know everyone's going to be everyone low rolls. Everyone has bad hands, but Viscerai is a deck that's built on tempo. And if you're on OTK, then your low rolls are even worse because you're just sitting there doing nothing. And I feel like that. Honestly, I'll do a top 8 prediction right after. I'm just warming up the rest of the thing here, but I think for that reason he's falling off a little bit. I think people understand you could be very good at Viscerai. A very good Viscerai is very different from just an average Viscerai player, because they're able to elevate the deck to that increased kind of level of burstiness, 30, 35, 40 damage on creepers. And I think that's something that neither Chain nor Briar can do nearly as fast. You just can't do it. You just don't have that ability to do it because you don't have that rune chant generation for Skeleton.
Yeah.
Chain is still a very strong deck. Briar is still a strong deck with Channel Mount in the mountain ranges, as you said, but even though you weren't able to showcase it very well. But I think those decks are all still very good. And then you'll get everybody else. Your Dory Axes, your Rhinar.
We'll have Rhinars in there most likely. Yeah, definitely an old him or two.
I can see, some old him, some Katsu and some old him or something.
Katsu
I'm kind of
too.
Expected to.
Yeah, the difference between Blitz and CC is that Katsu is a lot better in CC. Like a lot better.
Even bigger than that is a hell of a card. And then I think the right Katsu player that has enough reps will be able to take it far. We did see in Wellington and New Zealand, it was a Katsu v Katsu final, but I think Katsu just has really awkward matchups. Like, I don't know how you beat Starvo consistently. I mean, movables and stuff like that, but I don't personally.
You don't really like running those, I guess, because of the amount of resources it costs you. It's tough.
Having to run more blues, and then okay, you beat one. Now, how do you beat the next 5 you're going to see in 10 rounds? Like, how do you, you're going to see so many of them that I just don't particularly love Katsu there, but Katsu diehards, maybe some Dory Axes that I kind of mentioned, and some other heroes, maybe some Dash, obviously.
Dash will always be there. She's consistently middle of the line, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
You can definitely win into Starvo, but it depends on how well you draw.
For sure. And then maybe a little bit of Lexi to round it out. I know Lexi is definitely gaining some popularity for those ice builds, even Yuki Lee Benders, Lightning Lexi build, crushing prisms left and right here. So I think you'll see some of those. Any top 8 predictions? Not the players, just the heroes. I don't know nearly enough about the players to be like,
oh, me either.
This guy's gonna win for sure. I have no idea who's
I'm not a player better, but I'm willing to put my money on either Starvo or Prism here. I think that's just kind of speaking to just the historical data we have on which heroes have been winning. I do think
just to bring the whole thing down.
Yeah, I think that maybe in top 8 we might see. Let's go 2 Starvo, 2 Prism, maybe 1 Viserai. I'm willing to put a Katsu in there. I think it could be fun to see.
You're willing to give him a chance?
Let's give him a chance.
You're willing to give him a chance? All right.
And I want to give Rhinar a chance. I want to put 1 Rhinar in there.
Okay, now we're diverging a little bit.
Now we're diverging. For my last pick,
we were 2 peas in the pod, and now you just jumped out of the pod here.
Got popped out of the pod. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. What do you think? I can't think of the 8th, but what do you think?
I also agree that it'll be half Prism, half Starvo. Top 8, there'll be 4 of them. Will be some combination. I think there'll actually be three Starvos.
Okay.
2 Prisms is my guess.
Just based on representation of how many people are playing them, I guess. More just kind of eke into top 8. Yeah.
I think 5 out of the 8 will be those heroes, just based on the North American meta that we've seen so far, and based on the ProQuest data. I think the other 3 heroes, I think there'll be 1 Viserai, 1 Chain.
Okay.
I think there'll be a Chain. I'm actually going to go out there on a limb and say there's going to be a Chain player that's able to bring out the right deck.
Probably has a better chance than Rhinar, so I'll give it to you, but we'll see which one of us is right on that. I feel like a Rhinar might get it.
And then my dark horse is
Rhinar. Exactly.
Oh.
Do you have a dark horse pick?
I was about to say Dory Axes just for Ross is what.
Yeah.
Dory.
Hey, go for it.
Don't think that.
Go for it.
I'm gonna put my dark horse pick on.
What else we got?
That's kind of tough here.
Yeah, I mean, there's Katsu, which I've already.
My dark horse pick is gonna be Old Him, and the reason for that is that
not a hot take, but I think that's pretty safe.
Well, just in the meta itself, I don't think Oldham is nearly represented enough because Bravo is just better. Bravo Star of the Show is just better. You get Crippling Crush and you get all kinds of better stuff.
True.
I think a slower Oldham deck with the right gem matchups can make it to top 8. But also a more aggro, a more mid-rangey kind of Oldham. Not aggro, mid-rangey can also do it. So that's kind of that'll be my dark horse. I'm also kind of favorable to Briar, be a channel mount build that's able to just brute force their way in there with the right games. But I think that's probably what it's going to be, plus or minus whatever. But that's kind of our. We'll see how well we did in a couple days.
Yeah, we'll compare and see who gets bragging rights.
Yeah, so I'm bragging rights. Okay, if Reinar comes in, you could brag as much as you want. If Reinar top eights, that's not something I can predict. But
Fair enough. Yeah.
uh, no, with that, I think that was all we wanted to kind of
Yeah.
go through.
A
So
lot of
appreciate everyone
material here
for
today.
watching. Yeah, watching or listening. This will be on Spotify. So I mean, if you want to see the tier list, all the pictures and names, feel free to check out the YouTube video. But this will all be on Spotify for someone who just wants to listen in. Um, if you like the content, feel free to leave a like, comment. Our subscriber giveaway is still happening. Feel free to enter that. Subscribe if you enjoy our content. If you want to support us, get some notifications. Um, Helps us kind of gauge interest in different kind of videos, different ideas. With that, I'm sure everyone's psyched for all the events that are being scheduled. We will have more of these videos. I know the Pro Tour 2 just got announced. We're not going to get into that right now. Maybe for another video when there's more details here. But with that, appreciate everyone for watching wherever you're watching this in the world. Have a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Bye for now.